reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. MMO Reporter's PAX Prime coverage is brought to you by GoDaddy. Get 30% off your next purchase at GoDaddy by using the code MMO30. Some limitations apply. See website for details.
Hello everybody, welcome to another MMO Reporter special PAX video exclusive here. We're talking with Dave McDonough and Will Miller here, the co-lead designers for Civilization Beyond Earth. Thanks for your time here today, guys.
Hey, no problem.
Pleasure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Okay, so we'll get a quick start. I just said a little bit of background here. The podcast that we actually do is a little bit more of an MMO, not a lot of strategy. Civ is a big issue on our podcast, though, mainly because it pushes our recording times back for that whole one more turn issue. Maybe give us just a quick rundown, your elevator pitch for Civilization Beyond Earth.
Well, Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth is the story of humanity's future on a new world. So if Civ has traditionally told the story of our past, this is the story of our future.
Hey, right on. So, Civilization, I've read a lot of descriptions about this as being the kind of the spiritual successor for Alpha Centauri, not a sequel, obviously, or anything like that. What are you guys trying to bring from the old Alpha Centauri days into Beyond Earth?
Well, happy to. We were really inspired by Alpha Centauri and all of the canon of Civ games. You know, we grew up playing them, and we really liked how Alpha Centauri kind of set us alongside Civ 2 as like an alternative future version of that game. And so when we made this game, we were really inspired by that, and taking the whole legacy of Civ up to and including Civ 5 and its expansions, and saying, what would the future of mankind look like based on these games that we've all played and loved by now. So this is our interpretation of what Civ in space or Civ in the future would be, incorporating Alpha Centauri, but also the entire legacy of Civilization.
Yeah, I mean, we're huge fans of Alpha Centauri, obviously. We've drawn a lot of inspiration from it, but it's been a really long time since that game came out. We feel like we've learned something since then. So it's a brand new product, and it's our, like David said, our take. So.
Yeah, very cool. And I was an Alpha Centauri person back in the day, of course. So speaking of that take that you're putting on it, we talked about it a little, or you mentioned it a little bit in the panel, but what's been a little bit different with kind of the freedom you've obviously got? I mean, you're a little bit constrained by the whole, history of society and everything like that with Civilization itself. What are some of the areas that's actually been able to open up for you in developing something that's completely science fiction at this point?
Well, it was important to us that core Civ fans, the Civ 5 fans, be able to pick up this game and play it immediately. So we didn't want to throw everything out the window and start over. But every single system in the game we recontextualized or brought under the spotlight to look at without the constraints of history. I think the best example that's probably the nonlinear tech tree. Would you?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the most fun things and most difficult things is saying, like, when we go into the future, what do we know how to do? Like, how do we learn future technology? In the history, we obviously know what we've been, where we've been, and what we've been able to do. So the nonlinear tech web was our answer to that. You start in the middle of this web that goes out in every direction and represents all of the scientific frontiers that we currently understand, taken to like a really fun, imaginary science fiction extent. And you get to like roam around it and play it exploratively, where you might not know when you start the game what technologies you really want or need. And as the game sort of says, this is a problem you have to deal with, you can find the tech that matches it, so that by the time the game is over, the technologies that you've chosen is the story that you're telling. Like, you're deciding as you go what humanity grows up to be through your technological choices. And that's just one of the ways that you do it. Yeah.
Very cool. Speaking of new systems in Beyond Earth, again, mentioned in the panel, you talked a little bit about the favor system there. Maybe you can give me a little bit of a rundown of how you see the favor system kind of differentiating itself from previous Civ games or being a new feature.
Well, the favor system is a way that you can manipulate the AI short-term and long-term. So one of the problems that we saw in Civ 5 is, like, particularly in the beginning of the game, an AI would come to you, another Civ would come to you and say, hey, I need oil, I need horses, but I have nothing to give you in exchange, so just give it to me, please, and we'll be friends later. We kind of formalized that into a diplomatic currency. So instead of them offering you something for nothing in return, they'll give you a favor, and you can cash that favor in or save it up for a bigger payout later. So it's kind of a way to hedge against manipulating them long term or to get a quick gain. It's a really fascinating system. Yeah.
We're excited because it also lets you like kind of make the AI do things that you want to do, like not just give you resources back, but you can use it when they say no to something you want them to do, like stop attacking my friends, the aliens, or stop putting satellites over my cities, and they say, no, we're not going to stop. You can say, well, as you've seen, they've done these 5 favors for you, why don't you say yes instead, and then they will. So that lets you like sort of manipulate and puppet master the AI in a really interesting long-term way. So it's a lot of fun, it's got a lot of power. Players are really able to like take the diplomatic landscape and kind of make it part of their game, part of their strategy. They can decide how they're going to play the AIs against each other using the favor system.
When I first heard about that system, I kind of saw it as almost a little bit of the answer for the almost the mystical diplomacy stuff that happens in Civ 5. I can like sneeze the wrong way and become a warmongering menace really quickly. Is this sort of a bit of an answer to that?
It's one facet to an answer for that, but we've also tried to make the reasons for, them hating you or liking you more obvious, and they care a lot more about what's going on in the game. So all of the new systems, the way you deal with stations, the orbital layer, the way you handle the aliens, even expeditions of artifacts and things like that, they're going to care about that. And as you start to make different kinds of technology choices and diverge in affinity, they'll care about that too. And we hope that it's a bit more transparent, and the favor system is a step in that direction, and I think a really good one. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, finally, just to wrap up, the question I think everybody wants to know is, what's the secret sauce that makes your game just one more turn addictive than everything else ever made?
And if we told you, we'd have to kill you. Yeah. Actually, I think it's not unique to Civ. I think a good strategy game has this quality, this one more turn quality, and I think that comes from lots of small parts interacting in very interesting ways where they overlap, and that's what Civ is. Individually, all the mechanics are simple. When you put them all together, then it becomes emergent. We've been playing the game a lot. Like in the last 2 months, we've been bug fixing and haven't been able to play. But now that it's locked down, we've been playing the game, and it still surprises us. It's really amazing.
I think one of the things that Civ does really well is let you play the same game and something totally different can happen because of that system-driven approach. And we invested a lot in this game in making it customizable and unpredictable. Like we wanted to make sure that every game that you play, a whole different universe of possibilities could be at play in that one. So a lot of what Will was describing with a surprise, it comes from that's where the one more turn comes from. You play this and aliens show up over here where you didn't expect, or this leader suddenly decides to do this, or you crest a hill with your explorer and find that. That's where you want to be like, oh, I want to know what happens next. And every game is full of those. Every moment to moment is full of these unpredictable, surprising, exploratory things. So I think we emphasize that really heavily in this design. I think all Civ games have. So you really got to play it to see.
Okay, well, right on, guys. Thanks very much for taking some time out to talk with us today, and I can't wait for Civ 5 Beyond, or Civ Beyond Earth.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.